Welcome to Trace Your Future with Refiloe. We're talking about monetizing content on today's episode, and I've got William as well as Ndibuo who will share with us their journeys. Welcome to the show.
Right.
I'm going to start with you since you are the one who are ready now, fired up to be able to see this. Did you, by any chance, have any formal training in music?
Formal?
Yeah, formal training, like you went to school of what music?
No, I've
whatever?
never went to school. I've actually never went to varsity. I don't know, you guys call it university or varsity.
Yeah.
I've never went to that. Everything I'm doing now, I've never went to school for, except for acting. I went to school for drama club, but for music, I've never went to school. I'm doing music because I know how to write. That's it.
Oh, so you're writing the music and
the lyrics.
The lyrics.
The lyrics.
Okay, because you are known, yes, for your social media work a lot, but you have a huge music following as well.
Yeah.
And it's almost like feel like people want more. There's this anticipation. I mean, I see some of the comments on your skits, like, when are we getting more music?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, just a matter of me just writing. I mean, I have someone who does the mastering and making sure my voice sounds good. So me, I like I literally write almost like every day if I'm at my lowest, or like I really write every day in terms of music or scripts. So even the skits, sometimes as much as it's a short skit, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes I wrote before I shot, because I have to make sure at the 10th second I have to do this facials. This time I have to drink oros. I have to say all right. Yeah. I have to. Yeah.
Do you have any formal training with regards to your DIY?
No, nothing whatsoever. The school of social media, let me call it that. I learned everything online. So I'm sure there've been those who've gone before me who've shared their experiences. That's how I got to learn. Yeah. I don't have any formal training. No.
Yeah, because
I would like to learn more.
You'd like to learn
more?
more?
Please, yeah. I think that's where Trace Academy comes in. I would like to learn more. Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why I'm asking you, because
I would like to learn how to make pap.
You still don't.
Never mind, no.
Every adult needs to know how to cook pap though.
But I know how to make pap, yeah.
Oh, you know. Now you know. Okay.
Like very, very good.
Good.
Yeah, like there's pap, there's kinds of variety of pap. There's hard one.
Yeah.
Then there's soft one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's one in the middle as well.
What middle?
Yeah, it's leaning towards.
Nah,
it's somewhere in the middle of the end one. It's not all the way there.
A smoother one. Me, I like rookie one.
Oh, rookie one.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting to know. And the reason why I ask about the formal training is because people look at you and think, oh, maybe they went to fancy universities to be able to know how to do this. I'm not understanding that there are free platforms as well to learn all of these. Like maybe are you writing from the heart? Are you writing from having listened to music and understood, what it takes, like an 8-bar or all of those things? Like, where are those skills coming from?
I mean, sometimes it just comes from the heart. You can write a song when you haven't had the instrumental, and then when you go to the studio, you record, and then the producer, whoever makes the beat on top of your vocals. But sometimes you can have the instrumental and then write while listening to the instrumental. But me, I'm flexible with anything. Yeah.
Also self-taught?
Yeah. By my own Monetizing.
Yes.
That's a nation university school.
Is it?
It has qualifications and certificates. Yeah.
Okay. I love that.
I'm the president of it always.
Really?
And the student always.
This is clear.
Yeah.
When I look at your story, it's something when you come into the industry and shake it up, and somebody's like, yeah, they are well trained. They are, they've got the chutzpah, and I think one can only speak to maybe also the team around you to make it what it is, because it's like palatable across a few countries in our continent. So I link it back. Why I'm asking you that is that there are people who want to be DJs, producers, and all of those things, and with the Trace Academia app, what we're trying to do is, at least if you are still trying to figure it out, have the insights, take the short course and see if this thing is for you, or if you understand it, or to the liking that you would. And you don't need any of the formal training yet, at least, because it gives you that feel to say, is this an industry I want to be to? Because music as an industry is very brutal.
Exactly. It's the same as, even for me, I still feel like even if I go to a course like Trace, I can still learn more and make more ideas out of what I've learned.
Yeah, because learning reaches you where you are. If you are the one that wants to learn, whether you are at expert status or somebody who's still beginning on their journey, it's something that you can relate to.
Yeah, no, that's actually true. You can never stop learning. I think it's important for us to say that. With the app itself, like if I need to advance my skill, I can go ahead and do that because I have, I've covered a portion of what I've learned, but there's more that I need to learn, and there's more that I need to also understand as well. If I need to understand the finance of things, the app is there for things like that. So it's not only limited to me only learning DIY, because especially when you're doing content creation, you need to understand that it's not only me making a table, but there's a whole lot of aspects that we need to cover. There's social media marketing, there's finances, there's also administration that we need to understand.
You're running a business essentially. So content creation is the 21st century entrepreneurship, so to speak. And I think entrepreneurs being people that do it themselves or will find a way to make sure that this thing happen, whether you have resources or you don't. So learning how to conduct yourself also as a brand is things you've had to teach yourself, because you both don't have. Do you have a business degree? No, don't assume you.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you have. Yes, you said that you studied accounting and all of that, but now you're bringing that into what you are doing, and you find that somebody whose books are more in order than others. There's a revenue, possible area for revenue generation, because I know a lot of people who influence for work. I know they influence just maybe to get that branded bag, or that whatever. Maybe you can start offering that as content as well, alternative, so that people can learn how to do all of this themselves. But I think
it's very important, because you will have an amazing skill, but you don't know how to manage it. You don't know how to monetize it. There's so many talented young kids and young individuals out there. They have an amazing skill, but they don't know how to move to the next step.
Translate it.
Yes. So now that you have an opportunity with the app, that you'll be able to find the different options that they're offering. Like if you need to understand social media marketing, you can go ahead and get information from that. So it's not only you influencing a product or working with a brand, but there's a whole lot of behind the scenes that you cannot. That's why it's a make it or break it. So most people you find they are talented, but they're failing in the social media. They're failing in their finances. They don't even know how to charge. They have amazing numbers. He is charging very well, but because he understands and is an authority figure where in his industry. So because he has an understanding on what is happening. So you need to understand it's a whole ball game. It's not only one thing, but you need to understand the whole picture.
Reminds me of something in my industry as well, with formalizing businesses for others, is that if it's not making you money, then you're running an expensive hobby, because all the time you're spending, think about that. Maybe you spend a good 30 minutes recording a video, only to find out it doesn't have sound. If nobody's paying for that, it's going to be very difficult to get, motivated again to be able to keep on creating. And how much money are we talking about? I'm not saying tell us your payslip, but is this something to do with a 9 to 5 as a crutch, or is this something you can throw yourself into and build a sustainable lifestyle from?
It depends on, for me, I make money with advertising for companies. So it depends on if you have been booked or advertising for certain brands or however they pay you. Most brands, they pay looking at the numbers. So that's how I make my money.
But I'm sure you didn't start that way. I know a lot of young people watching us, and they're trying there by 500 followers, 1,000 followers.
Yeah, even for me to be here, it took me like 6 years for me to be even here. 6 years. So things take time. You don't just wake up and be
Was it your strategy? That's the other thing, because there was talking about now she had a choice, a hard choice to make because she's out of work. But were you doing it for fun and then it graduated into this thing that's now?
For me, I did it for fun in the first place. Because at school, I was in the drama club. I always loved theatre. I always loved acting. So when I started in the first place, it was just for fun to make time pass because I didn't have a job by then. School boxed me. School, I didn't do very well in school, so it was just for fun in the first place. Then as time went on, I could tell or I could see I could make money out of it. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing that's paying, bills for me, that's taking care of my kid also. So it's the life I chose.
Yeah, I think my admiration for you comes from that, right? Because I don't think anybody can box you right now. Musician, skit, drama, internationally recognized TikToker now.
Yeah.
Because if one comes onto your page, I mean, anybody from any country relates to your content because most of it you're not actually speaking like. You are actually using your face, your body.
Me, I always want to be my own lane. I don't ever want to say I'm better than this guy or what. The only competition is the person you're looking at in the mirror. So I don't compete with anybody. I compete with myself from yesterday.
With yourself from yesterday.
If I ate pap yesterday, I was just here. Let me eat right today.
No, I completely get that. And they are watching, right? Young people, and on their minds, I know they're like, it's so easy to have a picture of once you're on the other side and you've been sending invoices and stuff like that. But how do you keep being consistent? Because social media is one of those things like you can wake up today and just not feel like it. But you've got a contractual agreement with XY brand. How do you get through that?
It's not the easiest experience, to be honest with you. One of the key things that I always tell people, that advise people, that you need to know what you need to get. Like it's a matter of, I need to get this done. You need to find that one thing that keeps you going. It's not the easiest with the stresses of life. We get really stressed and frustrations of life. We get really overwhelmed. But you need to understand that if I have to submit content for a brand, for example, I need to do it. I have responsibilities. Look at the responsibility. Look at the surrounding of people that are depending on you. You depend on yourself as well. If you can't do it for someone else, do it for yourself. So that's one of the things that it's an encouraging thing for me as well. I always look at my daughter I have a daughter, I have a 5-year-old. I have to look at her. Yes, I have a 5-year-old. And she's my key motivator. She's like, Mommy, you can do it. There are days where I'm not feeling well. She's like, Mommy, you can do it. You really can do it. And, people depend on you. Like, she has a mind of her own for grown up, but she always says, Mommy, do it for that one person. Just that one person. So that's why I, keep going. I know we have to make money from it, but your entertainment, it heals someone else. Yes, you'll be making money from it, but just you getting up and saying you're gonna make this skit, but it's saving someone's life. And I think that's one of the things that we need to always also look at as well.
But also at the same time, just to add on here, as much as our skits they heal people, people should also look at the side of it. Sometimes people who make funny or rhymes, they have something they're going through behind. So sometimes when you see them in the streets, just always remember that he or she is a human being. He's making me happy, but I don't know what he's going through. Always remember that.
And it's the side they miss, I think, because they feel as though you belong to them, right? And they insert themselves in your personal space. Have you also experienced the same?
Yes, I do. I think with my content, because it's DIY, I try to shield my family side of things. Yes, I try to protect them as much as I can. As much I want to share the experience and even the journey with the media, that this is where I stayed, this is where I had lunch, but I try to protect it's my little cocoon where I can just go and just shield myself. Yes, people, they'll see you in the shopping center, in the malls. They feel like they're part of your life. They feel like, no, I know you. You went to Rosebank Mall on a Thursday. I know, I've seen you. And that sort of entitlement that, we know what's happening in your life, but the behind the scenes, it's a lot. It's a lot that, the audience, we don't share a lot, especially the inside things. We don't share a lot with the audience.
And watching, it's now it's when I'm hearing you, because when I look at your social media, none of those things are obvious. I like that you're connecting it to you've got this person looking up to you and knowing at a tender age of 5 that Mommy, just do it for one person. And Mommy is doing it. Mommy is drilling, is knocking those nails like DIY girl. How did we get here?
Sure, it's such a beautiful journey. That's why I think my daughter is the standpoint of everything. I needed to get a bed for my daughter, and the beds were like 6,000-7,000. I was like, no man, this is very expensive. I cannot afford to do that.
Beds? You mean bed?
Like a bed for my daughter.
What, 6,000?
Yeah, for the like the cute one.
There's $200 bed.
Where do you get a $200?
You start from small, and then that's when you get like bigger beds than 6,000.
Yeah, I wanted like a specific taste, like something, particular. Like I wanted like something specific for her.
6,000.
Yeah, and then they were like 6,000. Those nice canopy beds, beautiful ones. And I was like, no, let me go buy the material and then make this for myself.
So the canopy is the one that's double, yeah? Which means it's 6,000, 6,000. It was 12.
No, it was just 6,000 for the entire kit. Yeah.
So 3.
Yes.
And how many skits is that for you?
No, I'm making a skit.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, let me try this. And then from then, I searched a lot of content online, and I realized there's no one who in South Africa is creating DIY step-by-step tutorial where I can learn. Most of the videos were all American. Then I was like, no man, let me start documenting my journey. Then I took my phone, started documenting my journey, and the reception was so amazing. I was like, I'm sure there's another Ndibo out there who wanted to make something at home, but they couldn't afford it. Or I was very conscious. I didn't want to enter into debt. I could have easily gone to a retail store and bought things. Yeah, Mashonisa, and then they'll be coming after me. I didn't want that. Then I was like, no, let me not go into debt because I was unemployed at that time. So let me make this for my daughter. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And
is
that's
the bed still standing today?
Still standing. And
it's
one of those.
Yes,
yes. It's one of those projects that I look at as like, I always look back and say, this is where we started. Yeah.
And now, looking back at, because now you've both come full circle, right?
Yeah.
You are no longer, you don't need to go and make the bed yourself.
Yeah.
So you've now graduated to that place where you are doing it, linked to a brand.
Yes.
You are doing it to sustain what you've built. What does the pressure look like in terms of, it's like the stage is always open, you must bring the next best act. How's that pressure going for you?
I mean, sometimes, as much as you say we made like names for ourselves, sometimes few brands, they don't, I'm not going to say respect, but sometimes they don't give that much support to some of the,
let's talk about that,
some
because
of the artists you get. So in terms of money wise, they don't offer what you, because everybody has their own, as for you, you can say, I feel like I deserve this much, and then you approach a certain brand or they approach you, and then they still, it's like they belittle you. You will search it in dictionary. Belittle. You get. So, but as much as brand is now, the only thing I want to do is just I want to expand my brand. It's always about adding more brands to my resume. As much as some brands, they approach me like alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but I work with Castlelight last year. It's about building my brand so that I can have connections or doors. Keys to the door. That's nice.
So do you have you had to say no to a particular brand for any reason?
I've said no to many brands.
Then what was that? If you can share some of the reasons that you say no to a brand.
Obviously, I'm not gonna say no.
They're giving.
I mean, the no's were not like harsh no's.
Okay.
Sometimes the contracts or whatever they offer, they don't meet your own expertise or so just that. Are you there as well, Ndibo, where you are carefully sussing out who's approaching you?
I think for me it is a bit different. When I initially started, I had to knock on doors. Remember, it was DIY, it's a small niche in South Africa. So I literally had to knock on every single door. I think about 90% of the brand sponsorship is because I said, hi, my name is Ndibo, this is what I do. That was my initial thing. And then now, I think 18 months later, I am owning the authority. I'm saying they will come to me, and then I say, no, this is what I'm offering. It depends on the brand. There are bigger brands, and then there's also startup brands. You can see that this is a startup brand or a family-based brand. My pricing will not be the same. I know it's a bit tricky, but there's high-end brand which is making about 100 million revenue, and then there's just a former family brand. So I assess based on what is it that they're offering. And another thing that I also want to mention is that they will come and offer, like he said, that they will offer you something that you don't expect. There's two ways to look at it. There's if I'm partaking in a relationship with this brand, what does it have for me? For example, what long-term relationship am I going to build from this?
Because it's not always cash.
Yes, it's not always cash. Like I remember also when I started my first brand deal, I think they gave me about 500, which was like, for now, I'll be like, no man, that's not something that I would consider. They gave me 500, and I was like, okay, not because I needed the 500, it's because I needed to get into the door, just to connect and start connecting and know who's the brand manager for this brand, because I was starting out and I needed to just connect with so many people as possible. But you come to a limit now that I've worked with you for that, let's call it a free partnership. Now let's talk proper numbers, because you can see my audience love what I do, and they're very engaging in everything that I do. So those are the things that we need to look at as well.
I think in both your niches, when we speak about the Trace Academia app, we've got a course on the DIY course sponsored by Leroy and Melon, by the way, shout out to them. So I want to also ask, because you get where it is DIY, and in your particular instance, it is a sort of like an industry that not many people of color also understand. I feel like even if something breaks, you just go and get somebody to do it for you.
That's true.
And it's almost leaning on to a grudge purchase type of thing. So speak about the empowering side of being able to do things yourself.
It's therapeutic, you know. You mentioned Leroy Merlin and the course that they're offering. It's that season of, not a season, but that course alone, it gives someone confidence. Like just rocking up there and then just learning a few skills, because there are basic things that you just need to do it for yourself. I know it sounds as easy as it is, but let's say, for example, you have a broken hinge at the house. Those are the things that you can do it for yourself. You don't have to call someone and pay them 600 rand.
No, call out fee alone.
It's expensive.
It can make someone broke. Yes,
it's expensive. And for me, it's more on the educational side. You're learning a skill, like you're learning a skill, and it's also therapeutic as well, knowing that I did this myself and with no help. So that's the key thing.
I paid rent of 6,000 per month.
It's something to be proud of.
You must be proud of that.
Exactly, it's something to be proud of now. You also have the music side to your brand, and do you use the two to complement? Like if you have new music out, do you feel like now you are the brand, and then you're calling the influencer side of you to do that?
Yeah, I mean, most people when they hear the name William Last, or when they see me, obviously they know me because of my TikTok or social media, of how I always ugly on social media, or how I make vines. You get so. Speaking of the music, I've always been doing music before I even started shooting myself videos. So people, they just got to see the comedy side and they like the comedy side. But funny fact is, most people, they prefer my music more than comedy. So when I have something to drop, like new music or whatever, I use the comedy side to do facials and then promote the music. So that's how I make money with both things. But I still get pressure of balancing the two, because you can get bookings for coming to do comedy or to do music. So I always skeptical about it on when to choose comedy or going to make ladies throw that. There are wigs in this thing.
Wigs, ne? And do you find that the two audiences then are different? Because maybe like a person, back to the monetization discussion, a person is looking for you to, I don't know, promote a certain side. Do you feel like you have to maybe not lead with the music side so much, or do you feel like because you're a creative?
Yeah, I mean, when it's the same as if you want me to advertise something, obviously you approach me, you want me to advertise, and I'm gonna obviously ask you, how do you want your product or your company to be advertised? There's either I can do a music like jingle, or I can do a video. So most people that approach me, they say just do what you always do on social media, which is the comedy. That's how I sell companies or products. That's how they win.
Do you look for alignment at all in terms of the brands that approach you?
I mean, if the check is nice.
If the check is nice, okay.
I mean, like you were saying, it's not always about the money. Sometimes it's about connections or expanding your brand. So I don't only look at money. I look at where the company is from, how old is company, or where is it from. You get
And both your brands are, how can I say, resonating not only in this country but beyond. And which is why I felt like your profiles were befitting for us to have a discussion, because you've now turned into authorities in that space. And you don't see yourself as
no.
You are.
I mean, do you think we are maybe too humble to that point where when you've reached that legendary status, as people call it?
I mean, I've seen. I mean, there's different kinds of public figures or celebrities. I mean, me, the way I was raised to be humble no matter what comes my way. So as much as I have whatever numbers, I still want to be humble. Whoever comes to me, you get. So even when you say authorities, I don't even want to see myself at that state, because I feel like if I see myself there, I'm going to have a certain behavior which my parents or my family is not going to be used to. So you get me.
I do get you, because I mean, an African child feels like we're raised all by the same parent, right? But I guess the other side of looking at it, when I think about being humble, is that being humble shouldn't maybe make me broke, for example. So I can't be humble to the level where I have to agree to something where I feel like, no, this does not honor the level of talent or output that is expected of me. But I get it as treating people with respect and not being boisterous about your achievements. I get that part, but it's the humility that's why must it be in the bank account? I don't see, it's
I mean,
that,
you
but
can be humble. The
yeah.
artist can be humble. Then
Yes.
the managers or the top ones can be the ones that are not humble. You stay humble.
Yeah, the artists stay, and then they are fighting for you. But hey,
Yes.
not everybody's as lucky as you. That's what I'm saying. Or why not by now you've reached, those levels that aspiring youth are looking at you and they're like, I have mad respect for this person because of what they've been able to do. Because once one would look at you and speak about a self-starter mindset. We had a conversation with, one of the episodes with professors and a gentleman that works with the youth a lot. And the one thing that lacking, I mean, we've got access to opportunities and education and all of that, but moving ourselves forward, is this your experience as well? That most people, they want, like, how do you do it? How do you do it? And then when you open the doors to, this is what it takes, it's like, hey, I'm not so sure.
People like the idea behind it, but they're not ready to put in the work. There's a lot of hard work we need to put in. I'm sure William can also attest to that. Like, with sleepless nights where you have to film videos and you find that your sound is not on, or those are the common things.
That's how you are at the end.
And you have to repeat the same thing. It's not easy. And, I'm going to repeat this again. You need to be very strategic about it. I think with Trace Academia, what the exposure that people are, going to be given is that you need to be intentional. Yes, we're going to open the doors for you, but be intentional about it. Be ready to put in the work, because it's not easy. There's a lot of rejections that we face along the way. There's a lot of that moment where you post, that this video is amazing and you put in your hard work, but the reception from people is not what you expected. It's you put in so much
3
work.
hours later, it's still 2 likes.
You put in so much work.
Devastating.
You've put in so much work, but at the end of the day, the reception is not what we expected. So those are the things that it hurts. Like, it really hurts. We do get discouraged. I'm sure William can also attest to that as well. We do get discouraged, but you need to get up and do it. We need to get up and say, I need to do this.
And before we conclude, how do you pour back into yourself, William? You give so much because your content just keeps on giving and giving, and I feel like you originate also a lot. So if I think about somebody, like, for example, somebody even as simple as a writer, I mean, every time after you finish writing that book, you like spent, and here you are.
I mean, me, I'm just gonna say one thing only. The only thing that's keeping me going is just my daughter. You see, there was a time I was really at my lowest. Like I say, you see, even funny people, these comedians, but if you sit them down, just you alone, and ask them what they go through, they'll tell you everything they go through just to make people laugh. So there was one time I was going through the most, and then my daughter was watching one of my videos, and she was laughing. So from there, I was like, I'm not gonna stop. So that's just how it keeps me going.
I love this grounding of both your children. Playing a pivotal role in grounding as we should, nurturing what you're doing. And how do you pull back into yourself?
My family is everything. I always have to look at, especially for me doing DIY, I have to, even if I always tell myself, even if one person's life is changed from my content, that's more than enough. I know it's society may not receive it that way, but just one person, because there are times where it's me doing DIY is very therapeutic for me. It's something that I just go back home and just detox and just relax. But just that one person, if we can do it for just that one person, whether I know them or not, whether they've encountered with me or not, just that one person. William, his jokes and his kids, I'm sure just that one person, you just saved them and you liberated them from, and you just inspired, from the edge. It's important.
We come back often from that edge.
It's important, and just that one person, just to encourage someone that no, you can do it. It's not all bad. That don't look down on yourself. I know it's easy to say it, but we need to be realistic about it and say just that one person. If I can get up and put on my camera and say, I'm doing it for that one person, whether they know me or not, let's do it for that one person. And at the end of the day, let's make money.
That's what it's all about. Because I'm going through all of that.
Let's make 6,000 a day.
6,000 a day. Oh, okay. Are you giving us a hint about your rate now? Of the bed. So enough to buy Ndimo's bed every single day. No, those are goals. Those are absolute goals. I think if you're watching, quite valuable insight from.
I mean, to everyone watching, just always know there's nothing that is said. Everything is possible. There's nothing that says it's impossible. I said I was going to be to myself. I said I was going to be the greatest artist to come out of my country, and it happened. And I still say things to myself, and I know it's going to happen. So if you're watching, there's nothing always believe in yourself. The only person who can bring you down is you.
Excellent.
Oh,
That's
wow.
just it.
That's amazing. Eh?
The only person who can make
Yeah, William.
The only person who can make
it's
it.
everything is
it's
possible.
me.
That
Yeah.
just put it in all caps. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
You don't just wake up today and tomorrow you are famous. You don't just wake up today, tomorrow you make money.
Yeah.
It takes time. It took me 6 years to be here in Trace. Can take you less, can take you more. It's not wrong for you to take time to be the greatest. Also pray.
Also, I
yes,
guess
that's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's important.
And gym.
Yes.
Oh,
Not me, them. To stay healthy.
yeah.
And eat pap.
Yeah.
Tick.
And boros.
Yeah.
And I'm done. No. And oros.
I have learned so much from this. I've taken away, that work ethic doesn't only exist for 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Even here, when we are trying to earn those big bucks from the content we are creating, initially for ourselves and to express, right, and then later to monetize and be able to look after our children in both your cases is very, very key. So thank you for honoring us and our view. I think, this will resonate with a lot of them.
Thank you so much.
Have
Thank you
you
so much.
downloaded the Trace Academia app, where you can find a DIY course sponsored by Leroy Mellon? Free and fun and unlimited learning on the Trace Academia app. Download today.